My laptop is actually going to act as an end user sitting here today. We've got a server, believe it or not, there's a little server hidden right back here in the back of this box. I've got a power Ethernet switch in here, and then I've got my ShoreGear switch up top. And then a few IP phones, as you can see. I'm going to do the management software first, then I'm going to move over to the end user experience. Now I'm going to do everything from the PC just because it's going to be a lot easier to see than looking at trying to stare at that phone. Keep in mind, everything I do from the PC when I get to the end user stuff can be done on the phone as well. The management software is hosted on that ShoreTel server we talked about earlier. It's just a website. You can, as long as you have access from home, if you got secure connection back into your corporate system, you can access this web page and manage your whole system. When you first log in, the screen that comes up is what we call a quick look. The quick look is just going to give you a snapshot of what's going on with your system. You'll notice by all my cities I have an up green arrow. That's letting me know everything's great. If there was a minor alarm, there'd be a flashing yellow, letting you know you had a minor alarm. Then out to the side where you see service and it says in service, it would actually tell you what was causing that alarm. If you wanted to drill into that a little bit further, you just simply click on that city that was alarming, and you can see more information here. So I have a soft switch, which is my server, and then my ShoreGear 90 in the box. I can even drill in that server a little bit further and see what was going on with it. I can start and stop the switch with a click of a mouse. Now, one thing you'll note about ShoreTel is you can make all the moves, as, and changes you want, and you never have to restart that switch. So you can do all that during business hours. The only time you'll restart a switch is after a firmware upgrade, because what it'll do is it'll push the firmware out, and it'll sit in the background until it restarts, then it'll take over. The way you update the system, no matter how many sites, no matter how many switches you have, you simply pop a DVD in your server and tell it to load. Or you can go to an FTP site and download it if you like. The server will update itself and then push it out to all the switches and phones for you automatically. All right. And again, these little drop-down arrows, they are your friends, by the way, because they're always going to show you your options and what's available to you with a click of a mouse. There is no command line interface anywhere in the software whatsoever. One of the things we see quick look, a function of quick look we see used a lot are event filters and notifications. Now there's over 3,200 of these event filters and notifications you can build. For example, if I want to know when you unplug your phone, I could have it send me an email and let me know that. Or if I'm losing connectivity with Switch, it'll email me and let me know that as well. If somebody in your network dials 911, I can email you and tell you that. I can tell you what trunk it went out on, what time, everything. All out of the box. Now there's 3,200 of these, so don't turn them all on. They'll fill up your inbox. But pick and choose the ones you want and turn those on, and it'll email you and keep you up to date on what's going on with your system. I know some customers build a generic email address just so they can have things sent to them for alerts, like kind of like a little operations center. All right, so I'm going to move over to the left-hand side. I'm going to go to users, and then I'm going to click on individual users, and you'll notice up top it says add new user at site. Remember, your drop-down arrow is going to show you your options, and then click go. So from here, if I wanted to add a new user, I guess we can add you, huh, Kenny? We'll add Kenny to the system, first name, last name, click save, and I'm done. That quick, Kenny now has voicemail, he has an extension, he has a direct and dialable number, everything he needs, first name, last name, save. That's how easy it is to do your moves, as, and changes. At Southern Polytech University in Atlanta, Georgia, they run about 1,500 users. The CIO's receptionist does the daily moves, as, and changes on their system. Now granted, she has an IT department of 2 guys she can call when she needs help, but the daily moves, as, and changes she does herself all the time. Because what happens is when you go in here to add a new user, it goes out, looks at your dial plan in your database and says, okay, your next available extension is 1820. If you don't like that, just type over it and make it whatever you want, as long as it's not already in use. If it's already in use, it'll give you a screen pop saying, I'm sorry, that extension is already in use, and show you the next available. By default, I gave them an extension and a mailbox. I could do an extension only for break room or conference room or kitchen, or I could do a mailbox only for those employees that are on the road all the time, but you still don't have voicemail maybe. It gave them a DID, a direct and dialable number by default. And again, it pulled my next available, and it just happened to match on my system. Type over it, make it what you want, as long as it's within your range and not in use. Remember earlier I talked about if the WAN was down and somebody dialed Kenny from a remote site using 4 digits? Well, if the WAN's down, where do I want to route that call? Do I want to do an external number, maybe a cell phone, maybe the front desk of the building he works in so they could then find him? Or if he has a DID, why not just use it and route it right to his DID at that office? Very easy to change around. User group, this is where you just build who has what features and functionality, what restrictions you want to put on people. You can build as many user groups as you want in the system and get as detailed as you want with that as far as features and functionality. The primary phone right now is on the soft switch by default, means they just have they're sitting on the server, but they're not taking up any ports on my switches. If I wanted to make it an analog phone, it'd be a port, and I'd just check the box here that says ports, and it'd show me what ports I had available for an analog device. But today I want to make it an IP phone, so I'm going to check on an IP phone, and you'll notice it says any IP phone right now. Now if Kenny went to his IP phone and logged into it for the first time, that would then become his home IP phone. But for today, I'm actually going to move it to that silver phone sitting right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and select that phone, hit save, and you should see Kenny's name pop up on the screen there. Did it pop up?
Yep.
All right, so we're all set then. So that's now Kenny's phone. Now even though I've forced Kenny over to that particular phone, keep in mind he can still go to any location that's on the system, hit pound on the phone, his extension, his password, and take that phone over. So if he came in and took my phone over, my phone calls would now go to voicemail. So only calls that would be presented to that phone would be his. All his features and functionality come with him. If I was able to make local and long distance and he's not, guess what? When he logs in and moves his profile, he's not able to make local and long distance from that phone any longer, or vice versa. So it's a really nice tool. I mean, you could always unplug your phone and take it with you, but you're already carrying your laptop and everything else. Why carry a phone? Just go to the phone, pound, your extension, your password, and tell it to move, and it'll move it over for you. When you're done, just tell it to go home and moves it back to your home IP phone. And my profile would come back on the top at that point. If I come into my office and I see Kenny on my phone, I say, what's Kenny still doing logged on my phone? I just log in over the top of him. It'll send him home, and then the phone will be mine again. Very, very easy to move around. Any questions about adding a user? Pretty straightforward, huh?